Hey guys, I am back with another Michele Pro Guide video. Today we're looking at Port Euler. I was corrected recently on it. Apparently it's not Euler, it is Euler. Shout out Icy for making me feel like an idiot. But today we're going to go through this map. I think this is another map where Michele kind of excels in a big way and can kind of hard carry this map when you know what you're doing on defense. So let's go through the build order again. So generally always first upgrade in my opinion at the moment is base rate of fire 1. Obviously from 2, we're always going to take our light regen armor. The reason we take light regen is because generally if you want to hard carry as Michele, you want to be doing a lot of poking on defense. For that reason we want to have regen armor. We don't necessarily want the extra heavy. If you are queued with a Shinkwei player or maybe with a sniper player, you could argue for heavy. I think just play with light regen. It's easier in solo queue and even in team environments. You don't necessarily want resources to have to be spent to get you healthy again. So go for light armor. Remember as well, if you lose first round, sell your first blue upgrade to go into armor. It's that important, so make sure you get your armor. From here, build gets a little bit interesting. At the moment, I'm going for stringified damage second. I used to go headshot. I kind of change up between these two. It really depends on what I'm feeling on the day. At this point, I will go to spread control. However, if I can afford my third turret upgrade, after my second blue, I will take my my first yellow, which in my case is always going to be max +3. However, there are situations and times where you should swap up and go to 50% damage in range, which is the old 5 meter buff version of the turrets. And we'll get into some setups using the 5 meter, sorry, the 50% damage in range. We'll get into some setups with the max 3 to give you guys a bit more diversity in your builds, so that if your setup is beaten or they're hard countering you, you have another few options you can go to that are kind of crazy and strong. From there, kind of just fill in as you need to. As I said, I think movement speed's good because again, if you're kind of carrying, they tend to not want to hit your site, and you want to be able to get between the sites faster. So that's a rough idea of how you want to build Michele. Again, we really want to play around our Awakening 3, and getting that online as fast as possible is paramount for us being able to do a better job on this map. So let's get into it. We'll start off. Alright guys, we're going to quickly speed run through some setups you can do on the defensive side of B here with a 3 turret setup. So first turret we're always going to look to throw again, depending on this. Okay, the best way I think to describe this are there are 3 spots. There are 3 major spots you can play, and there's some cheesy stuff you can do. So let's start with the major spots and we'll go through them and how you can kind of play your turrets around that. So major spot 1 is going to be playing this container. I believe my team calls this yellow. You have options. You can either play the top side of yellow, you can play, or you can play inside of yellow. Either of these 2 spots works. They're a little bit more complicated when you start getting into the angle game, but for now, let's just go through what the spots are. You guys are going to have to kind of experiment around and figure them out, because they get every Michele spot you're going to play is slightly complicated. You'll have to learn the spot, but hey, I'm just here to give you guys the basics, and then you guys have to flourish, right? So if you want to play yellow, my recommendation is to put a turret either above the door or on the side of the door, like so, and then your other turret goes here on the trailer. So I like to do turret 1, turret 2, and then what I will oftentimes do is I will sit here and I'll wait. I will watch a minimap, and if it looks to me like it's going to be a big hit, my third turret will go down like so. Now, all I'm essentially waiting for is either them to smoke and try to push him with a smoke grenade into B main, or I'm essentially just waiting until I think I see a free kill target, and I'm just going to swing and try and kill one. Again, we're in Awakening 3. We have one of the best guns in the game. Let's abuse it. Just be very careful taking fights again versus snipers, versus DMRs, versus slug bimos, which might be a weird one, but they can be terrifying if they're hitting shots, or just again Audrey setup or anything like that. But again, otherwise green light. If you can solo a guy out, go for it. Just again, ease on the be on the side of caution versus DMRs and snipers, because they can quickly turn fights against you. I'm a sucker for it and I'll try and mag them, but I don't advise it. Let's go into the second major spot. So the second major spot you can play will be here on this right side. Now, so again, similar style setup. You can put turret 1 on the side door. You can also put turret 1 straight above the door. You can do turret 1 and turret 2 like this. Save your third turret, and you can play up here. I do not like this at all, because there's a very disgusting angle that any DMR player has here along this side here, where they can see you before you can see them. You're playing up, they can see your legs, and you can't really see them. It's a terrifying angle. Shout out to Cherry from the Vietnamese community for showing me some of this stuff. It is terrifying, and I do not recommend trying to play up here in general as a Michele, in my opinion. I think the better of the play, which again, this is another risky one, but it is efficient, is to drop down here and play the bottom side here and play this entire lane here. Now, how do you set up for this? Same concept. So we're going to put turret either above the door or to the side of the door, like we discussed the first time. You'll put a second turret on the trailer if you can, and then your third turret is going to go here. Your second turret can also sit on this wall if you want to be really safe, or alternatively, it can sit back here if you're worried about someone playing this pipes area, okay? You've got options. Same thing, same deal. We're looking to set up a kill here on this right side. Same concept here as when we played top yellow. We're looking for kills as they walk in, right? Again, careful of DMRs, careful of snipers. Careful of picking into 3 or 4 players at once. I've been guilty of it. I don't recommend it. So yeah, pick your fights carefully. But again, mag, try and get a kill or 2 and then just run away. Don't overstay your welcome in these spots, because how Port Euler plays is it's a game of yin and yang. If they take space off you, you either have to respect and give space, or you have to try and take space back. And if you're getting soloed out, a lot of the time you're probably going to end up in really bad situations, and that's probably going to cost the round. So just be careful. Now, the gimmicky spots you can play is what we'll call drop, where essentially you play the same style of turret setup. So you come from stairs side, you put your turrets like so, turret 1, turret 2, and your third turret sits above your head. You'll sit here, let someone path in, mag them, and then just run up and run away. It's more complicated. It's only usually good for one player, but if your team is playing up and you're playing a good setup, this is another pretty cool setup, but it's only for one kill, and then you have to get the heck out, otherwise you're dead. Another cool spot you can play is pillar. Pillar is also a very complicated spot, but essentially on your setup phase, it will be turret on anywhere on this side of the door or above the door, like normal. That's too far away. So 2 turrets like this, and third turret will sit anywhere on this pillar. Generally, I like to put it really low so that the range of the turret sticks out further. You're then going to play the pillar. Essentially, you're either looking for a kill on this guy entering here, or the guy entering close. If you feel like it's getting too crazy, or everything's going kind of crazy, or you're getting, utility dumped, just nade and run away. Okay, no shame with just trying to get the hell out. Okay, living is really important, especially if you want to, do more in the rounds. So there, I think that's pretty much every major spot. Obviously, there's spots you can play like stairs. You can play like underneath here. You can play on site. You can play up here on the single box. There's a lot of different spots you can play, but I think I've just covered the major ones. So I think top yellow is a really good spot. I think playing over here and the pipeline alley, or whatever we want to call this, is another great spot to play. I think playing here in this little drop spot is another really cool spot, but however, it's a cheese spot. Use it maybe once or twice a half, that's it. Otherwise, if they start countering you or they start burning util on it, you're in a problem. You're not really going to get valued. And also, same with pillar. It's a great spot, probably once or twice a round, once or twice a half. That's it. Kind of vary it up. Don't always do it because you will get countered. So that's another cool little setup you can do. I love the ping in this game sometimes. You can also play a stairs setup. So if you want to have a turret around the site that you can always play with, you can do cool stuff like this, for example. You put the turret up in these boxes here. This will let you kind of jump around and play with it. However, if you throw this turret, it is completely and utterly useless, except for giving you awakening. If you're running the 5 or the 50% damage in range turret, look, that is a cheeky turret, and we'll get into those. Shout out to Chinese TikTok for showing me that. But for now, just think of that as like it's a mobile turret. I don't like this one, but again, if you're playing around the stairs or whatever, or you want to be in this region altogether, this is a good central turret to be able to play around that will boost you in literally every spot. So that's not a bad one you can do either. In fact, if you are more roaming in this fight, this is probably the best turret because it will boost you in this entire area. So, but again, at that case, it's literally just a mobile awakening for you. So keep that in mind. Again, the rule is, as Michele, is always throw 2 turrets first. save one in your backpack because we want to have Awakening 3 always available to us. So you want to be able to throw this down wherever you need to go to fight. For example, if you need to rotate it to A in this case, you want to have it still in your back pocket, okay? So always make sure you've got one available to you. Now, let's go over the major threats, besides obviously getting Youth of Dumped at the front, or Laween Knifed, or Kanami Scanned, which are all things that will blow up some of these players. The big threat you'll have here are these windows. So, Hoko, if you could please do this on screen, I would appreciate you. Guys, essentially Meredith with Awakening 1 or Awakening 1-3, which will allow her to glide in her sandstorms, can fly up through these windows and allow her team to fly up through these windows. And Bimo can also dash from here up into the windows and get into B site from this way. And again, if you're playing top yellow, that's not necessarily something you're looking at. Now, that becomes a bit of a problem because again, if we're caught trying to fight someone B main and we get dashed on, we're in trouble, right? Or if we just suddenly have a Meredith flying off the side and just gunning us, again, we're probably dead, or a very high chance we're dead. Which again, we're kind of out of the round then, and all the setup we've done or all the thinking we've done has been kind of useless. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're really having issues with B main, or they're just perma rushing you, by the way, a good little thing you can look to do as well at the start of a round. You can throw this from a lot of spots. There are some optimal ones. A lot of people have them. I don't. But you can also ask your teammate to throw this. Is just any sort of interceptor towards the front of the door. This is just to stop their grenades from happening at the start of the round. It kind of stops rushes, and it's honestly a really good bit of kit to use at the start of rounds. Alright, so we've made it our way over to the A site here in Port Euler. This one's a little bit more complicated, as it kind of depends again on how your team's playing. Generally, you want to have a close range character like the Bimo or the Flavia playing usually pretty aggressive here, peeking for information into repair shop, or as my team calls this, A main. And usually they do that through short. Long or doors isn't really much of an option. Generally, I don't really like this because it takes too long to open the door, and the attackers can beat us to these lines. So it's not really an optimal. And again, they're on right hand peaks, we're on a left hand. So I don't recommend that. But if we're going to play this as a Michele, generally we want to have a DMR player like a a Madalena. We want to have maybe a character like a Nobunaga, an Audrey, something like that that can actually support us at this site, because I'll be honest with you, we're not the superstars here. We're the supporting actor, right? We're like the old school point guard. We're just here to help set up kills and kind of help hold space. We can do a lot in our own right, but we're not going to be the mega stars here that are actually going to lock the site down. We're just here to kind of help. So how are we going to help? Well, we've got a few options. If you know they love, and I mean love, to funnel out of your doors here, what you can do here at the start of rounds, again, we're a little bit far back, which kind of sucks. I think we're about here from memory. We can look to path straight over here, throw our first couple of turrets. So again, you can put a turret above the door if you wish, up to the side of the door. You can pop it in a few spots here, but I like to put mine generally just above the door. And then I like to just instantly path back up here. My second turret I like to place is here generally. I like to put it a little bit lower. And if I need to get creative, next turret can go up here. If I need to be creative, that is. Against someone like this. That's generally my 3 turret setup if I'm playing in a few ways. What's the point of this set? Well, again, this is on a left-hand peak, and this turret's not going to activate until they either stick to this wall to try and run out, which is, again, general pathing will be to run up here. Or it's not going to actually work until they start trying to glide out here. Now, what is the point to that? Because I know in the last video I said that Michele turret should be setting up kills, right? This is where your teammate actually... Again, I know I'm trying to talk about how you guys can carry, but again, we're supporting here. This turret for your teammate is a gold mine, because as they run out, even if they smoke, he just gets to shoot everything running out this way. This is amazing kill potential, especially on an Audrey. Oh my god, slide turret Audrey is going to farm. This turret up here, however, is more for you. This guy is going to allow you to shoot them coming out this door regardless of a smoke or not. And again, you've got really good leverage, and you're on a right-hand peak, so this can be your job. If they're spilling out into A main, this is also where you can kind of pick up the slack and start shooting things from cover from this door. That's also a really important spot, by the way, why I have moved this turret to this box rather than where I used to have it, which was here, because this turret gives you Awakening 3. That's a pretty big deal. The reason this turret also is here is that, again, if they try to path upper, again, which is a main threat for you here, you get a bit of a warning, and again, if they do jump up and don't break the turret, you have advantage in this fight. Again, we want to look to use our utility, so as they are starting the rush, you'll generally be able to hear it, and you might see a Ming Q or something like that happening before. You just want to put either an interceptor down either here, close side, which will block a lot of grenades from getting thrown, or you can just throw it legitimately just off to the side, down in any of these spots. But interceptor generally is a really good idea. You don't want to throw it too deep, because then they can come out into it and throw their stuff. Again, a lot of the time people are going to want to throw stuff here so they don't get caught by this guy up here in the nest position. So yeah, guys, besides playing here up this side, I don't really think you can play too many other places at B. You can try to play down bottom, I don't recommend it. You can technically play this back container, same effect, and try to fight in. The problem is your runaways are a bit scuffy. Again, Michele on this map really should be playing B side. I wouldn't worry too much at A, but this is just to give you a few ideas, right? Now, we're going to jump into the next segment where we're going to talk about 5-meter turrets. So, woohoo! Alrighty guys, we're going to quickly speedrun through 5-meter turrets at B. So again, this upgrade, I don't recommend it as your first upgrade, but I'll be honest with you, you can catch people off guard with this thing, so don't be scared to take it early. Instead of the max +3, just personal preference, I prefer the 50%. I prefer 3 turrets over the extra damage and range. In saying that, I have been known to use both. At the moment, my flavor of the month is an extra turret. Alrighty, so let's get into it. So, let's talk about the new and improved ones. First of all, we're going to start putting turrets up here now. Oh, but yeah, why are we putting turrets up that high? Very simply. See how when you come in, you can only put your camera to a certain height and then you can't look any higher? Yeah, well, guess what? You can't break that turret as you walk in at all. No, that's right. You now have to path in to break the turrets. You have to commit to being in. Even if you come in sideways, they're a struggle to break. Even on the back wall, you have to ADS up to find them. And even then, that's... Look how exposed you are to do that. No one's ever going to do that. These are basically like quote-unquote the unbreakable turrets. Optimally, I don't think you want them this high. I think you want them about here. Halfway up. Because again, they cannot break them, and they're going to hit them a lot further out. So these are optimal if you want to play the 5-meter turrets above the door. Let's get into the fun stuff though, because there's more than one way to do this. And 5-meter on this map is crazy for a lot of reasons. So let's kind of get into those. The next setup I don't mind is this type of setup. So you put your turret up. I believe it's up here. You may see, if they stick to this wall, guess what? They're getting tagged for 3 damage a tick. This entire climb up, they're getting tagged and they have to get off to shoot it. Very annoying turret, and it's gonna annoy a lot of players. The next turret you can look to play in this middle area is you can also look to throw something like this. Now this one's also a lot of fun because it's the same principle. If they climb this wall, they're getting shot. If they try to play through mid, they're getting tagged. If they try to jump across, they're going to get tagged. Great little turret. A lot of people don't know about it. What else can you look to do? Well, we can get into some cheesy stuff now. You can look to put turrets in boxes like so. Let me just make sure that I get the right angle because I'm pretty sure you can do some crazy stuff. Yeah. Now this one, from memory, just shoots straight across onto the high ground and will catch people off guard with their toes because they don't know about it. So if they're playing up here in sandwich a lot, it's a really nice turret. What else can you look to do? Again, turrets like this now get more strong. I'll get stronger. Sorry, not more strong. God, where's my English? Any other fun ones I can think of that are really good? Oh yeah. Yeah, stuff like this is also really fun. For you, of course, not your opponents. They will probably call you a lot of names under the sun. Because again, that's going to tag them here. And the same thing, it will tag them here. And this one's also great because it's going to give you the Awakening 3 buff pretty much everywhere around this area. So it's another little fun one. You can put this slightly further back and hide it behind a tarp, and I believe it still tags through it. That might have been patched, but from memory, you pop that back a little bit further, it's going to tag them. So that's another little fun one. If you're a little bit worried about them trying to cross the site later on in the rounds, never do any of these early. I had a coaching session about this. This is a big thing. Never put your turrets back on site at the start of the round. Always contest the door. So yeah, you can do a lot of cool creative stuff, but the main turrets you want to play are just straight there and straight there. That's it. These two turrets will completely change the base setup. The only thing we have to sacrifice, unfortunately, is our 5 meter. So if you really want to be effective with this, put one of these and then do another one like this, for example, or like this, or put it even like down there or something. Just put a turret towards you and a turret towards the door and trap one side. Nothing wrong with doing both sides, but you are giving up gun power. You can do 5 meters at A, guys, but again, I don't think they're that useful. So I don't really even think it's worth really covering, because again, it's not really going to change the way you play this side of the map. Like, you might be able to put these up higher. Maybe you can hide them slightly, which might catch some people off guard as they run out. But like, there's not a whole lot you can really do to change this area of the map, right? So again, I don't really think there's anything too crazy. But anyway, let's get into everyone's favorite segment. Let's get into Michele ults, because oh, your boy's been cooking. Your boy's been cooking. Alright, Michele ults. Now, I'm going to show you guys the default that I was introduced to on CN, and we're going to go through some of the other fun ones you can throw. So generally, the default was to throw the ult up here. Just double jump. You would do it from either close or up on one of these boxes. You could do it from down here. You could do it from up here. Do it from a lot of spots. So I'm just going to throw it so you can see it. This was called the quote-unquote, the really good ult. This was called the strongest ult for a long time. And I understand why. It sees both high grounds. It can kind of see out towards the doors if you throw it properly, but it also doesn't see the other side too well. Not the best. It's a good ult. Problem is, half the time when you throw this, the enemy paths down the left side, and then when they hear this, they just go, ooh, we don't want to be here anymore, when they leave. It's not the best. And again, you kind of have to be in spots where you're not the safest to throw it. I mean, technically you can throw it from this box, but I mean, even then, I don't think it's optimal. So I'm going to give away one of my ults. I use this a lot on my stream. Again, twitch.tv/HeirAir on Twitch. Come say hello. Get to come see some of this stuff live and some of the new stuff I haven't shown yet on this video. I like throwing stuff like this, where essentially all you're going to do is chuck her up there on the roof. Now, how's this one different? Well, this one sees all the way out to the door, unlike the other one, you only could kind of see it. This one sees all the way out. Now, yes, it has the same issue. It has a blind spot. Not perfect, though. But it sees everything on the high ground. It sees all the way to back site. It sees all the way into upper. Very strong. It sees onto site. And it's a very awkward spot to break. This is a fun one. Probably haven't seen that one too much, and for good reason. It's a bit of a cook. You can do some other creative things, but I think the way you want to play on this map is just have a good preset one, like I've just shown you. Either have this as your preset, or you're just going to throw this. You can look to jump throw these, but don't bother with it. Just keep it simple, stupid, straight up there. Or alternatively, pop it up there. Now, if you're in a pickle and you're on the site and you're getting pushed and you just need to throw an ult, just honestly, anywhere up here on the high ground, up here on this box, straight up above you is also okay. Up to the right. If you need to relieve pressure, relieve pressure. Don't go putting yourself in a spot where you try to throw the ult if you're in a bad spot to, just try and live. Sometimes it's okay just to throw it and use it as a tank. Like, if they're pushing this right side really hard, feel free to chuck it up there like that and try to fight with it. Nothing's wrong with that. Stuff like that is okay. Same thing if you get a knock at one of these spots up here early in the round, like I kind of alluded to at the start of the video, chuck your ult to the right side or chuck your ult somewhere in an awkward spot where they can't break it without peeking it. Like here, for example. And then just fight with it. Like, don't be scared to have all these lineups and stuff. Like, you don't need that. Michele has a couple of uses. Either have preset retake ults, or just kind of use them aggressively when you get a knock or when your team's able to start fighting, and you can use it to tank. Kind of like on 404 on the A side defense, where we kind of just throw it into a good spot. It sees everything, but we're also using it to tank damage, and we're also using that then to be able to push in with our ult and get kills. That's the way generally to play this site with ults. Now let's go have a look at the other site. Thank you, Ping. Again, nothing too crazy on A. Half the time you're rotating over anyway when the site's already lost. So if you can, and they're not too deep yet, you can look to put ults up in spots like that. Anything higher is a bit risky. Honestly, even just up here on the box like this, down on that box down there is also quite good. Up here is okay. They're not great, but they're okay. Up here is also okay. You really can, and you're looking for optimal. Up there is the best, but they're hard to do consistently, so I don't recommend it. Up on the railing to up here is also pretty good. But again, they're not the best, but they're really... If you're in a position where you're playing here and they rush your site and you want to relieve pressure, optimally, I think you throw this. Wait. What have they done to my... Wait. Oh? Okay, don't throw that one. Something's changed. The blooper, please. This is where you put the blooper effect, yeah? Yeah, boop, whatever you want to do. Please. I beg you. Editor. It came back! Alright, so, excuse me. So, yeah, anywhere up here is okay. Like, just up on this box, up in this middle area. Any of these are okay. As I said, also down here on this box is also pretty good. They're more, again, they treat these more like the A on Port Euler ones. You just kind of put them in a spot where they can do a lot of damage. They're going to get looked at, and they're going to shoot it a lot and just fight with it. If you're looking for ones that are a little bit safer, throw them up either up here with you, throw them up here in the middle, throw them up here on top of one of these side areas. They're all okay. But there's not really a best scenario with the ults in general. But yeah, I think that is nearly everything on this map. I don't think I have missed anything major for you guys for now. I will probably... I feel like I need to do a video where I actually sit down and discuss how I play some of these spots. But for now, I think this is enough to give you guys kind of a guide on how you can play Port Euler with both the 50% damage and range turrets and the max +3s. I think that's kind of a comprehensive guide on how to play both sides. Again, Michele, play towards B, but the same as always, keep it dynamic, keep changing your setup. Don't be scared to sell one of your yellow upgrades and swap it to the other one and keep changing your setups. Good Michele's adapt, bad Michele's throw the same stuff every round and get hard counted, right? But yeah, I think that's everything. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the series. Again, I'll be continuing to upload more and more of these Michele Pro guides through all the maps as we go. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.